From all of us here at the University of Smooth family, happy holidays. We extend wonderful Christmas wishes to you and yours on this extra special day. We still post on Christmas here at the University of Smooth because we have an important message for every man watching. And even though you are celebrating today with your family, you still have time to learn or watch this later and get some value that's male value from the University of Smooth. Following along all of our content, which deals almost exclusively with sex and how we can foster and facilitate more sex on this planet between men and women. Here is a good rule of thumb for you to apply to daily decisions that you make, as well as instances of intersexual activity that you observe as you navigate life. When it comes to sex, it is still about 80% violence. I'll repeat that. When it comes to matters of sex in which women are deciding to give sexual access to men, about 80% of that decision is based on violence. Quick story to go along with this principle. Was at a social event not too long ago. Friends, friends of friends, friends of friends of friends. Nice big gathering, the kind of place you go to meet people, to meet women. There happened to be a woman there who was over the moon. Like she had the happiest look on her face, twinkle in her eye. And I didn't know her personally, but friends of friends knew her. And they said, "Hey, how are you doing? What's going on?" And her spiel was that she was happier than she had ever been in her life. And the premise of this happiness was about 6'8" and 317 pounds. And he was sitting at the bar. And although he was quite friendly, he looked like he could kick the ever loving shit out of every other human being within a 12-mile radius. How could she not be pleased as punch to be, pun intended, to be dating the Midwest's biggest ass kicker at the moment? Being a little facetious, but you take one look at this guy and you do not want to fuck with him. Later on, while we were all taking a massive group picture, one woman went up to him just out of the blue, unprovoked, and said, "Do you have any brothers?" And honestly, I suspect that even though he answered no, she would have been glad to share all of this mountain of man with her friend if it was socially acceptable or it could be done on the sly. I tell this story to illustrate the key point. When in doubt, always ask which man can kick the shit out of which other man. When it comes specifically to sex, not relationships, specifically to sex and whether women will grant sexual access, you will be laboring under delusions if you think that the question is more complex than that. Women are looking for the man who is the most capable of inflicting harm on other men. Other priorities get in the way when relationships become a real issue and navigating life becomes critical, and all other priorities must be addressed, and you cannot simply rely on violence to get through the day-to-day minutia of life. But the connection between sex and violence is eternal, and it is much stronger than anyone in society wants to admit and wants to truly delve into. It's our position at the University of Smooth that for women, sex is violence. A woman expressing her sexuality is essentially the equivalent of a man expressing violence. This is simply how nature has set up the rules of the game for keeping the human species alive. And although we have this big, glorious civilization, well, some may claim it's rotting from the core, and they may be right about that. But part of the reason that that dynamic is so strange, fluid, disordered, and ordered at various times is because we're always reconciling female sexuality with male violence. You cannot control male violence to some degree. Maybe you cannot control female sexuality. But when that has a harmonious balance to it, throughout all of the human species, then you will see a civilization flow downstream from an ordered and participatory sexual marketplace. Sex comes before relationships, comes before civilization. And whether we like it or not, and we will never, ever, ever be able to negotiate our way around it, sex and violence are intimately intertwined. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and even though it's Christmas, dude, the truth is out there and we embrace it every single day here at the University of Smooth. Take care.